This episode of Philly Fame TV is sponsored by Top Dog Law. Now y'all already know who to call for any accidents or injury cases. If you want that top dollar, you better get at Top Dog. You can hit him up on Instagram at Top Dog Law or visit his website www.topdoglaw.com. Philly Fame. Alright, welcome back to Philly Fame TV once again. You know, we back. This is episode 10 of What Happened To and Where Are They Now. And on this episode, we're going to feature my guy, D Jones. I mean, this is a special episode. I mean, like all these Jones is, but especially this joint, because, you know, D Jones all over Philly Fame TV, featuring him multiple times on multiple different things, and we're gonna get into that as we get into the episode. And also, bro got a crazy story from how he started to where he is now. I mean, like, real crazy underdog story for real. So, you know, without further ado, I mean, we just gonna get right into it. You know, I go back with Jones and Head, you know, from early 2000s, you know, early Club Flow days and all that. You know, we knew Head more first because Head really was rapping early on, and he had the wave early on. Jones wasn't really rapping at first, I mean, he just was Heady Man and his hype man eventually, I mean, so. But we got some early footage of Jones from like 2004 outside Club Flow. This was right after we dropped the Bananas 1 DVD, and we was filming for the next show. We was getting some footage outside Club Flow. This Face was filming this shit, my brother Face and shit. And there was a crazy little cypher outside the joint. Meek had went first. I mean, it kind of turned into a cypher. It wasn't really a cypher, but it kind of turned into it because Meek just wanted to spit on the camera because he wasn't on nothing at the time. Nobody knew who he was. I mean, we just had put Bananas 1 out, so he knew that we was filming for the next one, so he wanted to get on that joint, so he actually spit on the camera, and he jumped on there, spit his bars, and you see Young Bob in the background, shit like, so that's before they started his shit. Oh, I mean, niggas just was around Club Flow, I mean, in the mix, trying to get in the mix. So Meek did his round, and then Head walked up, I mean, he was waiting for Meek to finish, and then he jumped in there, Head started spitting. I mean, and then I believe either D Jones went after that or Tech 9 went and then D Jones went after that. Either way, but it was, you know, Meek, then had D Jones, Tech 9. I mean, they all spit right there, you know, outside Club Flow and shit. So that was a crazy little joint that's a legendary joint that wasn't at the time because none of it was known. Nobody knew who none of them was. Like, nobody had no real buzz. Had a little wave. Because his Head was on Bananas 1 and a couple other DVDs had just came out or was about to come out at the time that he spit. So Head had a little wave, but nobody knew who Meek was, nobody knew who D Jones was, and definitely nobody knew who Tech 9 was. I mean, so Jones was a part of that early on, you know, when he was starting to rap. I mean, the footage ain't actually come out on I don't think we actually put it out on a DVD right away, probably till a couple years later, but the footage definitely up on YouTube for that joint. I mean, so, you know, Jones and Head, they know each other, they grew up, they from the same block, basically grew up Delhi, Dolphin and all that, so that's how they know each other. Like I said, like, Jones wasn't rapping, he was just like Heady hype man, like he fucked with Head heavy, he thought Head was the nicest rapping. So, like, early on, he was heavy in the battles and all that, so he used to battle everybody and shit. So Jones used to pretty much help him out as far as, like, telling him what raps to say. I mean, Head might be forgetting his bars, like, certain raps, like, he forget how to start. Jones might remember the line to help him get started with the rap. Like, all that type of shit, ad-libbing, like, just pretty much, like, helping him out in the battles, like, how shit used to be back in those times. I mean, that's how Jones kind of started out.
Always knew I was dope as shit. I didn't know how to embrace everything that I had, you know what I'm saying? So my plan was fuck it. So I figured it out. Make sure Joe the man. If he the man, By the time I got it, I'm the man. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't let him lose in battles because this is who I'm hyping up. Because at that time, Joe was on fucking fire. To me, it wasn't too many niggas in the city. He battled fucking the whole fucking city in like 3 weeks. Like, the fuck? With raps, like. So, what the fuck? He battled a lot of niggas. He used to forget rap. So I just used to be like, nah, say this right now. Like say like, I was like, yeah, it was like, say this. Right. You see what I'm saying? No, don't say that rap. Say this rap. And he'd just be like, oh yeah. Well, yo, how this rap started off? He'd tell me the end of it. But I knew the raps. Like, I just love music. So this shit just was easy.
I mean, then fast forward a little bit, the Headshot wave kick off, Headshot DVD wave. So that's like 05. I mean, around that time. And, you know, Jones said he was rapping, I mean, prior to that, obviously, but, you know, he wasn't on no DVDs yet. I mean, he's like a lot of people, cameramen was fronting on him. Like, they would only come and film head. Like, they only want to film head. You try to spit his shit. And they was pretty much fronting on him. So, and Young Bob came with the Headshots John, and he had the classic Big Dog Yard freestyle. I mean, that a lot of people know him for. A lot of people was reciting at the time when it dropped. He said that was like his last hoorah, like his last go at it. He's like, he's ready to give up on rap. Like, I mean, leave it alone because nobody was really putting him on. But he said he spit that rap for Bob, and Bob was fucking with it. I mean, piping him up basically. And I mean, he spit it on the camera, recorded it on the camera. And I mean, he said people was watching that at first before the DVD came out. And the son had with the footage, so he had to come back to the block and spit it again. And that's the version that actually made it on the DVD. I mean, so he said once that joint came out, that gave him the boost and the confidence he needed to keep rolling. Like, because people was fucking with it. A lot of people was, I mean, reciting that joint and know that joint to this day. Now we're going to take a quick commercial break. Give y'all a word from one of our local sponsors. This episode of Philly F.A.M.E TV is brought to you by 1212 plant-based hair care products. These products are good for men and women and best used in barbershops and hair salons. You could pick up some 1212 products at Hairbuzz and Hairtown in Philadelphia. Also shop online, 12haircare.com for all deliveries. Now back to regular scheduled programming. That's definitely like a classic freestyle from one of them DVDs for sure. After that, you know, other people start putting him on now. Now other people wanting him on their DVDs. So they say start, you know, charging, I mean, niggas and making a little couple dollars for the people that didn't want to put him on before, but now they want to put him on now. Like, you start taxing them. I mean, like, so now Jones start popping up on other DVDs and shit like that, making this little wave in his name now. Like, I mean, then fast forward a little bit, you know, the Headshots versus Touch Money Top Class situation pop off. You know, Jones had an integral part in that, even though he wasn't, you know, a big part of the whole overall battle. But as far as like the Head and Reed situation, he was a big part of that because, you know, I did the interview with Head and he spoke on how, you know, he wanted to get in it, but he ain't want to just jump in it. So he kind of like wanted to bait Reed to go at him so he can, you know, get in there and go at Reed. So one of the ways he did it was like kind of like with D Jones, like kind of got D Jones to kind of like go at Reed in a way, like throw a little shot at them or whatever the case may be. And then that's when Reed responded with the, you know, the joint on the Touch It, the infamous Touch It freestyle. And he, you know, what you say, like, you know, nobody likes you, look like a fat ass turkey, I want to slice you, some shit like that. So, and he said, I don't even know why the reason had he piped. I mean, like that whole rundown he gave, and that gave Head the green light to jump in there and go at Reed. So that made that a legendary back and forth classic situation. So that came from on the strength of D Jones. I mean, like.
So Jones, my fat young boy, you know, Reed tried to go at him. I don't like who the fuck piped, look like a fat ass turkey, I want to slice. Nobody likes you, you make me want to fight you. Look like a fat ass turkey, I want to slice. I don't even know the reason that Eddie piped you. Just another one of my kids, I say goodnight. When he say that, I say, don't worry about it. He think it's a game. He talking shit. He's like, yo, you gotta get him. He said, Joe, I said, listen, no, chill. He hot as shit. Let me get him, Jones. You don't gotta go at him. I got it. I rock him to sleep. So as soon as he do that, no, but listen, before we get past that, look, I had one at Frank. When I didn't go at him for a throttle yet. I went at him after he go right at me. He said some shit. So they got this one where he got the little green hat on and he dissing D Jones and Frank was dissing me. Cause I told D Jones to diss Frank too after that. So when D Jones went at him, Reed go at D Jones hard as he possibly can. And then I jump on Reed and I get him. And like that's how I started that shit. So he dropped the AAP and I dropped the get back.
He kind of like was in the middle of that and kind of got that ruling. I mean, so another little classic moment early in Joe's career. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, that he was a part of and whatever the case may be. And you know, early on Jones' career, like Jones had that's why I say a real underdog story because he had, you know, a couple little hiccups, if you will, in this early on that, you know, could have discouraged somebody, could have made somebody fall back, could have made somebody stop, but he overcame these joints. I mean, we're just gonna briefly touch on him because, like I said, it make his story even more crazy once you see how it played out. So, you know, at some point, you know, they had the tour off of the streets battle John against New Jersey, and he had the battle with T Dot. I mean, and you know, T Dot got off on that John. I mean, obviously for those who watched it, I mean, but I give Jones all credit in the world for jumping in the ring and I mean, try and represent and hold it down. I mean, like, and T Dot was nice. Like, he went up against somebody. He obviously niggas ain't know who he was. He from Jersey, nobody knew. Like, I mean, but boy, it was nice. He ain't go up against no slouch. And T Dot went on to do, you know, some major things. And believe he moved out like Cali, LA, somewhere out there. And I mean, I followed him on the gram, so I seen him. I mean, making some major moves on some major shit. So Jones ain't go against no slouch. I mean, so. But the outcome of that and the big platform that it was on, like, it could discourage, any other rapper or made him not, but he able to overcome that and get past it and keep it rolling, like, man, so that was crazy John,
Fuck you, bitch ass nigga, that's word. I get more than pussy. I'm a pimp and you broke, so you can't afford the pussy. He think that the boy is pussy? Come test me, I crack you for the paper like a fortune cookie. We getting changed, we do it on my block. Come through and get a few of your guys drop like bad habits when the Mac blasting is that tragic. It'll get ugly like G-Unit hot tops. I'm trying to let my family eat, get a big plate. Even Tony the Tiger say the kid's great. This kid's fake like silicone titties, he's silly. Do we really think he messing with the boy die? Of course not. Look, I done had it, dog, running through these pussies. I better put a magnum on. It's all back, cause that thing that I'm strapping long to that. Watch your back, about to get my Bin Laden on. Okay. Hold it down, you don't feel it. It's heated in here, Let's go. D Jones still packing that chrome, letting the shells off. Sort of leaving rapping alone, thought I fell off. Now I'm back with verse from hell, dog. And I got a gun. Motherfucker, run. Tell one, tell all. Fall back, homie, I'm back in business. Double D Block boys, that's my district. And if you know D, you know hip hop toys. You can ask some D Block boys. My raps is vicious. I'm hot shit, put the game on lock quick. I'm balling, you starving. More than the hostage.
And another little situation that, you know, was on a platform that went viral and all that was around with the little situation with Cheat Raw and all that. Like, that was a little hiccup, like I said, if you will. That took place back in the day. But he was able to, you know, overcome that because, you know, they was going through it with the top shotters and all that little back and forth DVD shit. And that was just what it was back then, and you know, so he was able to overcome that, get past that, keep it rolling, so salute to him for that, a lot of people probably wouldn't have been able to overcome that, but he did. And another little John, eventually him and Had went back and forth, had their little situation, they beef, and you know, Had was going hard at Jones on the lyrics, the blogs, Had was going at him. He was ended up going back at Had too, throwing his shots in his raps too, but Had being the guy who he was, and the rapper, and the charismatic, and the personality, and all that shit, and he was going at and Jones over, he was able to withstand that, and keep rolling,
I got it. Freakazoid, met him in the summer. Had you spit the flame? Let me get your number. Please do not confuse me with a rapper, I'm a stunner. I knew you was a ruby when you Freakazoid, met him in the summer. Had you spit the flame? Let me get your number. Please do not confuse me with a rapper, I'm a stunner. I knew you was a ruby when you ran up to that Hummer.
So that was crazy in itself too. Like he was able to survive all of those situations and keep rolling, bro, and keep it going, like overcome it, like. And eventually him and Head got cool again too. So you know, he ain't really. It seemed like he ain't really take it too serious and none of that stuff. Like I mean, like I say, he threw his little shots back in his raps and shit like that. I mean, he had a little back and forth, but he was able to overcome. Like man, keep it rolling, like. So this like early, like I said, back in the day, so it's like early in his career. Like Jones eventually was just doing his own thing. After him and Had separated, he was doing his own thing, started his own wave. Like he had some shit. I mean, he started the wave called Loud Life. Like he had the loud shit going, and he had the merch to go with it. I mean, eventually going by the Lifers, started calling the Lifers. I mean, that was the movement. I mean, he started rocking with that. Like. I mean, eventually Headshots died down, so like Jones was pretty much moving on his own name, had his own motion, his own movement. I mean, he had a couple people around him I fuck with. I mean, shout out to Boat, my man Boat. I mean, Busy. Shout out to Sandman. I mean, niggas like that. And some of his homies from the hood, like, and he just rocking and rolling like that. I mean, so. Fast forward, you know, a little bit, you know, we featured him, I mean, on one of our, either a DVD or a blog or something like that, right before we, you know, started F.A.M.E TV. We were doing like little YouTube shit like that, probably before our website or some shit like that. It's a little minute ago. And I mean, he was on his own wave at the time. Him and Head, he was going through what they was going through, and he didn't really even go at him on the joint like that. Like, he ain't really throw no shots or none of that. He was just talking about him and what he had going on. And his own motion and all that. I mean, so then fast forward a little bit, we ended up starting F.A.M.E TV 2014. Like the end of 2014, we dropped our first episode. Going into 2015. I mean, then we ended up eventually doing a little cypher joint. I mean, invited some rappers out. We did it at Black and Nobel when they had Black and Nobel on Bro and Erie. I mean, we did it there, and one of the rappers was D Jones. I mean, we had him come out, shit. I said D Jones was always down to work, bro, and we always had a good rapport, good relationship, I mean, so I invited him out because I figured he wanted, I mean, get in there. Him and Magic, I mean, they was like a little, they had good rapport, you know, from Headshots as far as like the ciphers and shit like that, so they both came through along with a couple other people, I mean, like, and Jones held it down, I mean, like, for sure, I mean, he helped stamp the joint because he had a name. Like, I mean, I had a couple people come through with a name and some up and coming people who was trying to get in it. People wanted to try out. Like, it was a bunch of people from the city down that joint. So, you know, and Jones was helped it be credible because he had a name. I mean, then we ended up doing another cypher too, like either a year later or a couple years later at a different location. I mean, we was at the paper mill. And Jones came through that joint again, like him and Magic again. I mean, came through, held it down again. I mean,
The F.A.M.E was a bag. Hey yo, I stroll up like I'm visiting, but I run the pitted tab, not the B-State prop. Fuck with gun, I'm the man. Myth and the legend, no need to wonder. Far as vibe and the shit you need, got it covered. Turn it up on niggas real quick. Give them the gas, roll as fuck. You built 4 tough, they knew you last. The plug, like Poppy was good, he knew my past. Alpha going race to success. I ain't last, I ain't first neither, I'm on the hunt. I'm chasing. If they dream about stopping my paper, I'm chasing. Wake up, playboy, we got your bitch half naked, tied up in the back, part whip. I'm the dope man, boy, you need a hit, call me. Might cost you a little, will cost a grip. Lately I've been fiending designer and foreign whips, for trips, for chicks, fucking all this foreign shit like Menage a trois papas, and I'm like, yeah, she like, you gonna bring your friend? I'm like, nah, I can handle both, I got her from here, really, yo. Rapping, hustling, I'm good at both, there we go. The game and I called that shit. Shaq, the paper good and I'm always fit. Facts, I'm a lifer nigga and I got some dogs doing stretches. Told me, stay sucker free and to count my blessings. My homie Chi got booked with a compressor. They opened it, it was 10 joints that they was pressing. Under the couch was a Max Smith and Wesson. The lawyer rumbled like hell, the judge, it's a lesson. That's why I say it's to the max, my nigga. It's no looking back, my nigga. Yeah. They throw a shot, you throw it back, my nigga. now. We shot the Mac, my nigga. Yeah. Top my shoes, these loafers. Welcome to the big house, boys. Use coasters. That's how we fuck you up. Aside toasters. Went from being on papers to on posters. Ain't it funny how they treat you? They went from walking by you in the club and now they wanna meet you. See the funny in these niggas? I wouldn't kick it less it was about some money. I'm making animal boy. I know the host of anything that I want or I got. Get from the muscle. I'm working on my first Kimura. I'm Russell. I know the flow give you the chill. I touch you. Big dog talk, my nigga. Still barking. Homie just still hard. I still got both lines open and they calling. Matter of fact, I'm back to the money, no more stalling. Like, he got so much.
So this might have been, like probably like 2017. I mean, then we did another little blog joint, little interview. I mean, a couple little interviews. Like we did a couple little interviews with Jones in that period of time. 2017, 2018, like did a couple interviews with Jones. I mean, did a little showcase concert. Jones was doing them for a little minute at a period of time, and Jones came out performed at one of them Jones. So he had a nice little run with us for a couple years where he was, a part of everything we was doing, like for the most part, like. So he's featured on Philly Fame like quite a few times. Jones was always down to work. He always was reliable. If he said he was gonna be there, he's gonna be there. We definitely was fucking with him. And then the game changed with the Dave East situation. Through his man Freaky, Dave East used to hoop. He was nice and ball in college and all that. And D Jones, man from his hood, boy named Freaky, used to hoop. He was nice, and they ended up going to school together with Dave East and shit.
I met East through Freaky. Freaky my folks, Freaky his folks. East used to come down the block. East from Harlem, but he used to come to Philly like in the summer with Freaky and shit. But he ain't rap, he just played ball. Like he was on that, that's when he was on his ball shit. And then one day Freaky like, yo, East rap. I'm like, what? Like East rap? I'm like, send that shit. He sent it, and he sent me his number. We was chopping it up. That was the first record we did. That shit was a banger. We did that. Then we just started kicking it. Like, I'm like, oh, all right, you rap. Like, all right. He sent the record. We did the record. Then he started coming up. Now when he was coming up, it wasn't about ball. Like, he was in the stew with that shit. So he cut the record. We go to the stew, cut some records. I go up New York, fuck with him. Go down DC, he moved down to DC. I go down DC, fuck with him. Down Virginia, fuck with him. Then we went out LA. We was just moving around, and then we just got tight as shit. Then Freaky died. Like a little once, like right before East shit blew all the way up. Like right before the Nas shit, like Freaky passed. And then that shit was like, then we really got like super tight. Like we was tight, but that means it's like super tight. That shit be crazy. That's my dog though, right?
Once Freaky died, Freaky eventually died. Unfortunately, him and D Jones got even more close. So it was just like real life homies. It just happened that D East rap, and he got on, and D Jones rap. So next thing you know, D Jones running around with Dave East and shit. So we did, a couple of interviews we did, he was talking about, the situation with Dave East, how he know him, and, being on tour with him, all type of shit. So this was around, I think Dave East got on probably like 2015, something like that, 2014, 2015. And we did the interviews like 2017, around that time, 2018. So at this time, Jones was running around with him, touring, and doing music, all type of shit. He linked up with Meek. He get a song with Meek and Dirt. It's an unreleased joint, ain't come out. It was for Meek tape, and he ended up not putting it on the tape. So, he got an unreleased joint with Meek and Dirt. So he's doing this thing. Then, eventually he connected with Kiss. Bands though he was running around with East, he connected with Kiss, and next thing you know, he started fucking with Kiss. He running around with Kiss and all that. And, fast forward a couple years, he ended up doing a song with Kiss and Dave East and did a video in the city down North Philly. And that shit viral right now. Over 2.6 million views on that joint. Fast forward today, and that's pretty much what he doing recent times. See him still moving around, shaking and moving. He just did a joint with Davies not that long ago, 4, 5, 6 chains, I believe it's called. Like a couple months ago or something like that. Video and all that. Joint crazy too. So Jones, he had the craziest, to me, one of the craziest stories from how it started, from him not being really a rapper like that. Then him starting off as a hype man for one of the top rappers in the city. Then, had eventually, got locked up, went to jail. Like I said, but him and Head, went through what they went through, and Jones was doing his own movement. Then Head wound up going to jail, so Jones really was on his own. So really stood, held his own wave, had his own motion, had his own movement. Was doing his own thing. Then, the shit with East ended up kicking off, and that shit just took it to a whole nother level. So now you fast forward, you look at him now, you see what he doing, all the shit that you experienced, been on them tours, been around the people, he been in a mix, dropping music. Jones doing this thing. He doing what a lot of the people from that era wanted to do and wish they could do. People from that era who honor Kiss to the highest degree, who would love to be running around with a nigga like Kiss, and being on tour with him and doing music with him and being around the locks and all that shit. Like, Jones living a lot of people's dream, doing what a lot of niggas wish they could do. So, at a time where a lot of people from the era that he came from, a lot of people fell back, weren't really rapping like that. Some niggas went to jail, all type of shit happened to people as far as where they wasn't in the mix no more. Niggas not doing none of that shit no more. Jones doing that shit to me. He ain't in the mainstream, he ain't no big industry artist or none of that, but he around that shit. He in the mix of it. He living that life that a lot of people wish they could. That was rapping from that era who was considered better than him, more lyrical, whatever. Some niggas might have dissed him before, niggas might have fronted on him before. He surpassed a lot of niggas, bro. And he doing this thing, so shout out to Jones. And he always, like I said, he always came through. When we needed him, especially early on during that week, like when we was building our shit up and trying to get our shit rolling, like Jones was always there. He always showed love, he always supported, he always down. So we ain't had him on the drum in a little minute since, like I said, like our last drum probably like 2018. But since then he been rocking and rolling, he been moving and shaking. Like he still been in the city, still been around and shit like that. We just ain't featuring him in a little minute because we had him on here so many times already, but. Eventually, we definitely gotta do a new little John, so give him an update, let niggas know what he got going on, what he been experiencing. Give him a little update, cause he did speak on the tours and all that shit before, so I can imagine the shit he experienced, since the last sit down we did with him. But definitely shout out to Jones, man. He definitely, a motivation and inspiration for a lot of niggas, who probably gave up and probably thought it wasn't no hoop, and see him rocking and rolling, like, damn, it's still a shock for niggas, but definitely one of the best stories, I think, from the DVD era, for sure. Shout out to D Jones, my guy, man, for sure. That's gonna conclude this episode of, what happened to and where they are now. D Jones, it's a whole lot more we could have covered, a whole lot more we could have touched on, but I really just wanted to focus on some of the main things that people know of him and know about him for, and all of that, for the most part, about his story and all that, which made it interesting and significant. Bro just kept working. Like, he the prime definition of a nigga that just stayed consistent, kept working, kept putting out music, kept driving, kept doing this thing, never gave up, never let, the naysayers or the critics stop him, never let none of the negative publicity, none of that stop him. He just kept going, bro, and he made it work for him. So, big salute to D Jones, for sure. And, shout out to all y'all that tuned in, that tapped in, that stay tapped in, stay supporting. New content coming soon. Check out the last episodes if y'all ain't see them. Check out the other series, Drilladelphia, if y'all ain't see that yet. Check out past interviews, our past interviews with D Jones. Got a bunch of content with D Jones, freestyles, ciphers. I mean, all type of stuff. I mean, so check that out too. Check out, I mean, all our content, man. Stay tuned for new content coming soon. And we signing out on that note. Philly Fame TV out here. Shout out to everybody that's supporting. Shout out to everybody. Stay tapped in.